Yeah, like I get lost in the hallways going from class to class,
All right, boys, we're going to go ahead and get started today. So, Colin, do you want to begin in prayer?
And the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now at the hour of our death. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Good job. Thank you. Okay, so a couple things. Oh, wait, let me read this one for you today. I remember, or yesterday, I don't know if we began with not yesterday, but 2 days ago with our prayer. April 2nd, this one's a good one today. It actually was like, made my day when I read it. It says, time directs, heals, teaches, and leads hearts to love. Be patient with yourself and with others. Be patient with God. We all have to be patient right now. I thought that was just so appropriate. My favorite part was be patient with yourself, because I don't know, that not frustrating, but it things that seem like they should be taking such little time are taking so much time. And that's my biggest frustration. I'm like, I know this should be quicker than what it is. So anyway, if you're feeling the same way, be patient with yourself. Always remember to pray and be patient with God. Something's in the plan here. We'll figure it all out. Who knows when, but all right, gentlemen. So number one, some of you got the email and some did not, apparently, asking if anybody is interested in testing out their bridges. So show of hands if you are interested in that.
You already know I am, Coach.
So John, Ethan, nobody else? Nobody wants theirs destroyed? Colin?
My dog already got to it first.
Oh, who said
Maybe,
that?
I don't know.
Whose dog got to it?
Mine.
Oh, Sean ate it all up.
She
All
ran
right,
into
Jack,
a
no
leg.
video. Ty, do you have video? Tony, do you have video? I'd like to see your faces. Very,
Jack
hello,
Johnson.
hello.
I was eating. I just didn't want to be loud.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll mute you all. All right. Well, I
Hey,
think
Sean.
that's what we'll go with. So I think the best thing to do under these circumstances, I want to give you guys the opportunities, but I also want to respect this social distancing and the school and the environment, as far as like too many people. So John and Ethan and I were talking. John and Ethan, if that works for you, I think that's what I would like to do. If you want your bridge tested, because I have one that I built that I'm going to test live with you guys on Tuesday of next week. So you have, I will go up to the school on Monday afternoon and pick up anybody's bridges that want to be tested. So what you can do is you can go into the school, and probably the best thing is to park in the back and go into the back, so you don't have to walk all around the school. My classroom door should be wide open, and you can just walk in and put it right there on my desk. And just leave me your bridge with your name on it. I think I'll be able to identify everybody's bridge. And then I will, well, if you could do that tomorrow, so that'll give me either Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to get up there and get it. So if you can't get there tomorrow, if you want your bridge tested, just email me and we'll see when else we can do it. So it's not required. I don't want anybody leaving their houses who don't want to. I don't want anybody telling their parents they have to leave. It's just an option, but I also want you, when you go to the school, to interact with as few people. They're doing the same thing there, keeping the social distancing and everything. So nobody's been in my classroom for a while. You can just drop it off in there. I would love to be teaching there. My issue has been I don't have a laptop. So facing that desktop to the screen and everything, that was a challenge. I'm using a laptop at home, but the rest of my family needs it also. So we're doing what you all are doing and sharing time on our computers. Because not everybody in the household has their own personal computer. You might have that. We don't have that. So anyway, so that's why I'm not at the school teaching you. Anyway, I would like to see some of these bridges tested. So John, if you want to test yours, and anybody else, instead of having you guys meet as a group or anything, you just leave me your bridge at the school. So as I said, if you want that done, I will probably not get you your bridge back to you. We can probably do it the same way where I'll leave it at the school and you can come pick it up. But another thing I want you guys to keep track of is your hot glue guns and your X-Acto knives. As Jacob just said, I want to keep building and not do these math problems. That's my goal for you. So hold on to that supplies. Sean, I know you brought it up. So if you come back to school to play tennis and everything, the same thing, that bag is still sitting on the same place where you left it. So if you need to pick up the hot glue gun and X-Acto knife, you can go in and get that. Okay? For today, what was due was the truss problem, which was you just trying to figure out where is and how much were the value of the forces that were at point D. Okay? So I'm not going to go through that. So that was due. I want to see your work with that, and you're going to turn that in. So that is for grade. After today, I will post that. Jack, is that your work? Can you take a picture of that right now and just email it to me?
Did you get mine?
I have not. I think so. Did you send it last night? Who did I see first thing this morning?
I emailed mine.
Wait, did you say email it?
You may email it to me, or you can put it into the, I don't think I made a place for it in the Dropbox yet, because the Dropbox was down when we were last working, and so I didn't, okay? So I want that work turned in, and the main thing that we were looking at there that you should see in the last two problems that we have done, I'm going to switch this. So lots of things I want to do with you today. Whoops. Okay, when we took a look at that, what we have consistently seen, right, when we have trusses like this, is on the outside, if you have a support right here, right, this is always ends up being some kind of compression force. So in that free body diagram, what you should begin with is that you had a force at D, that was the ground support pushing it back up. You had this crossbar support here, I think we call that ED. And then we have one in the middle here that was force CD. Because of this, we have to have some force that's pushing down. We know the ground is pushing up here. So what we always find out is this is a compressive force, not a tension force. So whenever you're doing calculations for trusses, we always make the assumption that they're in tension. The members are all in tension. But what we're finding in our trusses on the outside members is they have a tendency to be always in compression, okay? So when they are in compression, I want to go back and let's see, I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, let's see here. All right, you guys all sharing my, see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I am going to ask for professionalism today, gentlemen. I thought I had my seniors, not my freshmen. So please no writing on the screen. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Not only out of respect of my work, but of your classmates paying attention. Okay. So, gentlemen, if you don't want to be in class, you don't need to be here. So, to allow others to pay attention, please stop. All right, so with that said, as we take a look at this, so what we began the year off with when we were working, we went and had a nice visit to the gym. So as we take a look at the gym construction right here. All right, so our trusses that are being set up. So this was at the beginning. So obviously You can see that nice truss, and the goal of the gymnasium was to have the ceiling as high as possible when we take a look at that. And on this truss, it's kind of like a double angle. So here, I want you to pay attention to what's over here on the outside. So as I just showed, we always see that as a compressive force, and it pushes. Well, there was a major problem with this construction that ended up happening. So here is the truss embedded in the concrete wall that's on the outside. And what you see here is a crack that they started to notice. This was huge. So the goal here is for you guys to appreciate these calculations that we are doing. Here is an example of where those calculations were incorrect. Right here at your gym, which you are going to forever have part of your life as an alumni of Benedictine. Look at the crack. It is not even part of the mortar. It is splitting the concrete right down the middle there, okay? So it is not part of this mortar. It is, again, rip that apart. Why is that? Because the compressive forces that were happening in the truss as it's hanging under its own weight were too great for the concrete. So the concrete could not withstand that. So all of those trusses were taken down. It's my understanding that this cost the construction company, the architect, actually, I believe is the one who had to pay the price for all of this because it put it behind by about 2 weeks. I think they are now up to date, if not ahead of time, but more than $300,000 in an expense because these trusses were pushing too hard on the concrete wall. So they cannot change the foundation. That would be way too much. So they had to change the truss. Okay, so I'm going to switch this back here and pause for a moment, which was really interesting. So what they have to do, right, if I switch back here to my whiteboard, is now I'm pushing. So what's happening here is this truss, right, is pushing on the wall in this direction, right? And the wall's trying to push back, but it doesn't have enough force to be able to do that. So ideally, the concrete would just be balancing that out, and the two would be equal to one another. So this is pushing out in this way too hard. Can anybody tell me what solution we might be able to have for that? What could we come up to make that better?
Make it lighter.
Make the truss wider? Make it flatter so that it's not as sharp of an angle? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
That's an idea. So if we change this angle right here, right? If I change that, okay, now that takes away from, if I change this and this comes down further, it actually will cause to push out more because as this angle, so if I draw my triangle like this, here's my vectors, right? My issue is it was pushing out by so much. So actually just the opposite would have probably helped. I would want to increase the peak. However, they made all those trusses already. They're already made. So to go back and remanufacture, then I would be remanufacturing the angle of the roof. I would need different roofing and so on. I need to be able to just use this truss. What might we be able to do? And again, if we go back to this, the issue is this component of the truss pushing in, okay, is too much. So I need a counteracting force, right, to pull it back. So here's something that they did. They put a crossbar here. So this was added after the fact. And in my previous slide, that's why they're laying down. They actually had to do this on site. So they had the two trusses that you see right here. Whoops. So they had these up, and this is when they noticed the crack happening. So these had to be removed, and all the others that were there, they had to go back and redesign on site. So putting them behind by quite a bit of time. It was my understanding that the metal that was also used was special metal. So there was only one company in the United States manufacturing that, which they had to wait quite a bit on as well. So this is what they ended up doing. They put this crossbar. So the purpose of the crossbar is to pull that truss back, right? So all trusses work on the Newton's third law, which is action and reaction. If I push on something, it's going to push back. And that's what we see here. So what effect did that have? To Mr. Grape's disappointment, I believe, this tall ceiling that was going to be there now has these crossbars in it. Do you see the crossbar?
Mm-hmm.
So they now have these crossbars, which isn't bad. That's where the banners are going to hang. But that wasn't the original design. So again, they had to go back and manage that a little bit more here. Let's see. Okay. So just looking at some of the pictures, you can see the welding of that when you go in. It's a different color. They might have gone back and repainted that because they had to go back and do that again on site. So it didn't come in like that. So that was a new design that they had to put in. Okay, just wanted to show you some additional pictures and appreciation of the structural support that continue to go on there. These pictures were taken in December, January actually, I believe. All right, the roofing system. This is in the gymnasium, you looking out of where people walk in from right here, right? Some things I want to point out. This is very important here. I have a close-up picture of that door jamb right here that's right up above. So you can imagine this support system here, this underground tunnel that's back here, your locker rooms and everything that are going to be located back here is supporting quite a bit of weight, right? So look how they designed this to be fit into there. So remember I was saying on your bridges, when I do test those bridges, what you're going to see is how important it is that you are crushing your material as opposed to being connected on the outside. Okay. So again, just showing you the truss, the crossbar that came through there. The most supportive structure is an arch. So beyond the triangles and trusses, you will see lots of arches in the windows. This is the most supportive because quite honestly, it pushes back on itself. So by the time you get to the bottom corners, it's only pushing down, and then the upward forces have a tendency to then push in on themselves. So the arch is actually your strongest support of all of it. All right, now I know you guys are, it's tough to be at home there, but again, this is the close-up of that support. So I like this cutout that they have where the I-beam is going through that as opposed to, you know, just being anchored on the side. So always you want to go on top of material. Oh, I miss you all.
Oh. Jay Johnston.
You did say we're going to go back on another tour, so.
I know, I'm not sure we're going to be able to.
I'll just come back next year when the whole thing's done.
What a nice picture.
Yeah, aren't you?
My favorite.
Ooh.
Necessity is the mother of innovation. Don't stop
Boys.
thinking. There are lots of
Thinks they won
problems
that
to be
project.
solved.
Best friends? That's tough.
Damn, Sam, we cute, bro.
Very cute.
Well, we would have won that project if we would have had more materials.
Possibly.
Anyways,
It always comes down to materials, right? Which is what they just saw in the construction of this truss. Okay, gentlemen. So I hope you appreciated that. That is a real situation right there in your backyard where the calculations were extremely important in the structure of that bridge or that gym that you guys have. And a mistake was made, and it cost lots of money to make that, to fix it. And it didn't cost Benedictine any money. It cost the company that was in charge of the designing of that bridge the money. So it's a big deal, a very, very big deal. I would assume the person kept their job. Hopefully they had a good reputation and had past designs that were very successful. So something like that seems like it was so little, and how did that get overlooked? But it happens. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Luckily, it wasn't that the structure was built and it later collapsed. That would be devastating. But I do want you guys to appreciate, and what I wrote there at the end is we do have problems to be solved. Lots of problems to be solved. And if anything else that we get out of this situation that we're in right now, we as a society, we've put a lot of value on things that are not necessarily valuable. And we're losing sight of the importance of intelligence, quite honestly. Intelligence is the only thing that's going to get us out of this issue that we are in right now. So people working very hard to solve all of these problems. So creative thinking, problem solving, collaboration, very, very important skills always. So with that said, I know it's frustrating, and solving the problems is not necessarily what you want to do right now, but I want to keep your brains working, functioning, and thinking as we go through all of this. All right, so with that said, I'm going to put you all back on, and I have a problem that I want you to solve that is exactly this problem right here. So I set up a scenario, tried to make it very simple. I know many of you guys have already experienced the breakout rooms that you've had. I'm going to set you up in a breakout room where I'm going to have you put numbers to the whole calculation that had to happen at the gym. Now, some of these numbers are true for concrete and trusses, not necessarily for the gym. So I didn't get these numbers for your gym calculations. There's a lot more there. But I want to see of your team who can work together to solve the gymnasium problem. What did they have to do? So we saw what they did. They put a crossbar at the top. So let me go back and pull that up here. Okay, so what they did for your gym, this was the issue, right? We have this compression. The concrete was not able to push back. So if we were to draw a free body diagram at that point, now it was a double truss coming in. So we're going to make it simple to say, okay, the truss is pushing down on the concrete like this. The concrete is pushing back. The issue is the truss was pushing more than what the concrete could push back. So to fix that, we put a crossbar in this direction. Even though it was up higher, it had the effect of pulling in on the concrete like that. So that solved the issue. If I know the values of these, because I know how much that can compress it, I know the compressive strength of concrete. So knowing that, how much did they need that to be is what I want you to solve for today. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so everybody familiar with the breakout rooms?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jacob, come on, you can do it.
School.
We don't have any numbers.
I'm giving you numbers. Everybody ready? I'm going to screen share this problem. I'm going to put you in a breakout room. The problem is also on Blackbaud under course documents. Okay, so you will find it under course documents, your own version of it, and it says gym truss problem. Should be the last document that I just added for you this morning. All right, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to be working on it. I'll bring you back. I'll bounce around to see if you have any questions, but I will share it with you right now.
Cool. It's kind of random, kid.
Yeah, this is really random.
Random. It's everything we've been doing the whole time.
So everything's been random.
So random.
This class is random.
Oh my
Collective.
goodness. Attitude, you guys, attitude. All right, here's your problem. Is everybody looking at the screen?
Yep.
You have the force of the concrete. Okay. Force of the truss. How much does that have to be? All right, so I see that, I left out our numbers there. So let me write up on the whiteboard before I put you guys all into, okay. So what you guys will need to know before I send you out is the force that the concrete can withstand is 4 times 10 to the 5th newtons. 4 times 10 to the 5th. So write that down.
That the
Force
what
of the truss is equal to 9.7 times 10 to the 5th. Newton.
Bless you, Cage.
I'm getting sick.
Rona.
It could be. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, it does make me nervous to think, I think I'm pretty healthy overall, but I can be a carrier, and boy, would I be devastated to think I gave it to anybody.
Is that 97 or 9.7?
9.7 times 10 to the 5th, 4 times 10 to the 5th. So my question is, how much does the crossbar have to be, the force of the crossbar?
What angle did we get again?
It was 60 degrees. So
And
you'll
between-
notice that most of your trusses are all 60 degrees.
In between which joint?
Between the truss coming down and the angle. You'll see it on the sheet. So I guess I can continue to share my screen. Does that show up on your screen?
No.
But the problem is go in Blackbaud. And
I
you
got a
will,
picture of it.
Yeah, just print them on out.
yeah, you can print it out. It's a good idea. All right, you're gonna be put into a room. It's totally random. I'm not choosing.
What's
All
the
right,
force
should
of
be
the truss
3 of
again?
you in a room. Let's see who your partners are.
I
There you go.
Told me it was someone good.
So join your breakout room. I will share my screen.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Again.
It is. It's great to see myself in the reflection.
I like the AirPods.
Thank you.
Tim just gets cuter and cuter as time goes on.
Okay,
Okay,
board
nice phone.
Sparky.
yeah, we're
Hard at
so-
work.
Okay, is everybody able to pull up the problem?
Yeah, I got it.
It's on Blackball already. Okay, yeah, I found it.
Everybody on Blackbaud?
Yes.
Now, I'm too curious. Are you guys still seeing my screen?
No.
We can see you, but not your screen.
We can see you, yeah.
Okay, even though I'm doing a screen share.
We can't see the screen share.
Okay, I thought I was in a screen share.
It probably doesn't work
Yes.
with the
It might
breakout
not
rooms.
work with it. You're right. Okay. Okay. So I see you guys. All right. Well, you can send me a note if you have any questions, but I'm going to, let's see, leave you guys and join another team. See how they're doing.
Cool.
Do I think, right?
No.
Or go to work.
Okay. Did everybody have the problem?
Yeah, I
Yes.
just pulled it up.
Yes.
Okay, you shouldn't have to do torque.
Okay.
In this problem, all you're going to be having to worry about is summation of forces in the X and the Y.
Right.
All right.
And
So
Don't make it too hard.
do we
Truly
do we
just
have to
the
do
X.
do we have to do FCB plus FCX minus FTX equals 0?
That sounds perfect.
Okay,
Is that all we have to do?
That's pretty much it.
well, then we have to do them in the Y, right?
Well, that's my question. Would anything else be necessary? So if all I'm doing is putting a horizontal one across,
Exactly, no.
do I need another crossbar going in the vertical?
Oh, no, all right.
Well, maybe you do, according to the forces, but where does that come from? Is my
That's,
question.
normal force.
Okay, excellent. Well, that drives it all the way down to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, Hayden, what did you say earlier? The formula?
I said for the summation of forces in the X to equal 0, FCB plus
Yeah.
FCX equals FTX.
Got it.
So we
Thank
have to find FCX and we have to find FTX and FCB.
Hello, gentlemen.
You?
How's it going?
Got this.
DeAndre, participate. Oh,
Hey, hi.
hello.
Yeah.
You need to be involved. I need to know you're doing some work. Colin and Jack, how do you always get in the same group together?
I went to the bathroom. I came back and now
That's a good question.
Daniel, how you doing? Okay, so I need you guys. Does everybody have the problem?
Yeah, I got it right.
What the problem? All right, any specific question? Don't make this too hard. You don't have to do torque or anything.
Yeah, I don't have to not. Do I need to use like the trig functions?
You do. Here's my hint. Summation of forces in the X has to be equal to 0.
Okay, because I redrew it with the X's and Y's instead of at the angles.
Oh, so would it just be like 3.7 times 10 to the...
You're going to, you want to break this one up into components, right? So this is going to have an X component and a Y component.
Yeah.
And I think I have it drawn. Let me switch that. You guys have it drawn a different way. It goes like this, right?
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, exactly. And coming off of that way, yeah.
And then this is going to have an X and a Y, right? This is going to have an X and a Y. If you don't want anything to break, you need the summation of forces in the X equal to 0.
Yes.
And the summation of forces in the Y equal to 0. Okay?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, I am being summoned. You guys good for me to? Daniel, DeAndre,
I don't even know the question.
be involved. Draw a picture.
I'm always involved now.
Thinking about it.
Really doing the most this quarter.
Daniel, I'm very pleased with what I see this quarter.
Cheating.
Our partner isn't talking.
Sorry for the delay.
Our partner's just not here.
Jack Johnson's not here.
He might have lost internet service.
Oh, yeah, that is
He has really bad internet service, would be my guess.
Oh, all right.
We're going to assume, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I also lost Tony, but I don't know if it's his internet. I think it's just he's decided to check out. Jack, I could see wanting to work on this, so, but I haven't gotten a request that he comes back in. Okay, so hopefully he'll join us. Jack, I hope you're still here and you can hear us. All right, how we doing? Any particular questions?
Yeah.
I don't know where to start.
Okay, you don't want anything moving, right? So
Yeah.
what we recognize is the force of the truss pushing down on that concrete was too much and it pushed it back. So it broke it. So this force of the concrete pushing back was too little compared to the compression of the truss. So, which means without this, right, my X component of this was not equal to this one's X component. This was too big. It was pushing it out.
Okay.
Right? Well, actually, I apologize. This one was too big. So what I did, so we're going to put in a bar that's going to apply another force so that these are stable and all your forces add up to be 0. So all you have to do here is find the components of each of the vectors. It's a 60-degree angle. Find their x and y components, make them equal to 0. X is the only one you're really concerned with to answer the question.
All right.
Jacob?
Yeah.
There you go. See, you look so much better when you smile.
I don't really know what to do though.
I just told you. I just told you.
I mean,
All
I
right,
get
listening
it.
now instead of sleeping?
No, I get it. It's just like, what are the angles for?
Well, because you need to find the components, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you mean by components? Like, I know what the angles.
Yes.
Okay, so if we call this, what is this one? This is
Mr. Isaac,
force
would
of
it be like that?
Force of the truss, right?
Kind of like that?
X and Y components, yes.
So would that be right?
X is cosine times the force of the truss, yes. But I would call that like force truss X, force truss Y.
Okay.
So instead of X and Y, call it like a subscript of X for each of your forces.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming to you now, Jacob?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. All right, well, share your work. Very good. Let's see how everybody else is doing.
All right. So
346, 410.
Man, hard at work or hardly working?
You look hard at work. I like it. Everybody good?
Would you
Think
say?
so.
Would you say it was the FY?
FCY.
Question call in.
Yes. I got a question.
Man, this question's tough.
All right, so I'm just confused when I'd use the vector, like stuff, the x's in the y direction, when I'm using my like the son of 16 stuff, because I redrew it. So then when I redraw that free body diagram, I wouldn't have that 60-degree angle anymore to use like the sine or the cosine or whatever.
You do. So that shouldn't change. Now, when you redraw it, you're right. Okay, so if I have, if I go back to my color code here, FCX, FCY, and then this was force of the crossbar, right?
Yes.
We use similar subscripts.
Yes.
Okay. So now when you redo this, you're going to get, you get rid of those. However, you had to say that FTX was equal to FT cosine 60 degrees. You had to come up with an equation for that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, I was just thinking that FCY would be on the other side. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Which would be your sine function, right?
Yeah,
So on
exactly.
this side, you'd say FTY equals FT sine 60. That just gives you two equations now that you can use.
Yeah. I was just confused about the drawing of the truss.
And now since you know what that value is, you know the value of the truss, you can plug that in and actually get numbers for these two.
Yes.
And
Yes.
get numbers for these two, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Jack, what's entertaining you?
Nothing.
So we lose Tony, is he gone forever?
He wasn't in this group.
I thought Tony was with, who did we lose out of the group?
We didn't lose anyone. We just had DeAndre added.
What do you mean DeAndre added? He had himself?
Yeah,
DeAndre.
it's by myself, and then we just put me in here.
DeAndre, you need to get to work. This is for a credit. If I don't see any contribution, you can't get credit.
Yes, man.
Okay.
Okay, a few more minutes.
What's the
Makes it to do it on his head.
How's this team doing? Good?
Ma'am, Sam Slater's trying to get in, and he told me to tell you.
Oh, is that how you can request to join the other groups?
No. I mean, like in the overall class, he told me he's been trying to get in for the past 30 minutes.
Oh. Well, hold on.
Coach, is it 2.85 times 10 to the 5th newtons?
2 point, does your team agree?
Yes,
Uh,
most definitely.
That'll go. I'm not seeing him in the waiting room, Tony.
I'll tell him. That's what he texted the group chat. I'll tell him.
Sam's not working.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can.
Try
I'm not going
again.
to tell you the answer till the end. You guys have to
Okay, you didn't seem so excited about my answer, but
Hayden.
Probably because you're close to the
yeah.
camera, Hayden.
Huh?
You're too close to the camera. Back off.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I got to figure out how I can get Sam in here.
Is that better, Tony?
I just told him to try again.
I don't know what you're doing.
Who?
Hi.
Hair straight up.
Mean. No camera.
Never mind.
That doesn't make sense.
Mean. I would turn that off.
This morning.
Is that Sam?
No, that's Ty.
Gotta love it.
It's a video of.
Yeah, I heard
we
you're
are
famous
arguing
now, Ty.
That's correct. Yeah.
Ty, what were we all arguing about?
I don't even remember. I don't know.
What he was wearing.
Oh yeah. Coach Walker told me to go put on.
Because Walker is being annoying.
Great guy.
Wait, this is being recorded.
I literally don't care.
Wait, you gonna get a call from Busman?
So I heard your Zoom meeting.
And I just wanted to show you my beehive.
I just wanted to invite you to my office with Vincent Puccinelli.
Oh, all right, Ty.
Morning, students and faculty. So today I'm going to talk about my beehives.
Hey, guys, get focused. Are we all done? Is everybody happy with this answer?
I'm almost done, but I think they're right. I'm just making sure my work gets to the
Okay,
end.
I'm going to be.
Ty, did you do that?
Yeah. Why don't you play the Arnold one?
Or you should play the one I told you to make.
That one, no. I get in trouble for that one.
I think we got it. We got the answer.
Yo.
Ma'am, it's
I can't hear you. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I understand Sam has been in the waiting room.
Sam's not very smart.
All right, Tony, I just checked again as you guys all came back together. I don't see Sam in the waiting room, so I'm not sure. You guys have all been getting texts.
He's probably in the old Zoom code thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it could be. It could
He's not.
Fonda.
All right, boys, how'd we do?
I don't
Did
mind.
pretty
Last
well.
save.
I think we got it.
Ma'am, it's 150. Are we allowed to leave? 151.
It's 150. You got to take a picture of your work and email it to me, or I will open up a work on Blackboard.
150.
Tim, what do you got? What's the answer?
Ma'am, I'm not too. Is it 285,000?
That's what we got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone got.
That's what we got.
Newton.
Go, Tim. Go.
10 to the
So I got
It has to
carried.
be negative.
Tim, shut up. You didn't even get that.
That is correct, 285,000.
Let's go.
All right, who can tell me what else would be the issue?
It's
It's
going
intention.
down.
Did anybody do the Y direction?
It's going down.
No.
It doesn't equal 0.
The Y's do not equal 0. But what would happen if I push harder down? Since this is connected to the ground just pushes harder up. We don't have to worry so much about the Y. They didn't have to put more verticals in because that would simply be pushing harder on the ground. What they might have to consider is, did they have to strengthen the foundation? So, you know, would that have to be, they didn't account for the pushing of the roof down as much as what would have been happening there. Anyway, all right, gentlemen, I hope you have a fabulous weekend. If you want your
When do you
pitch,
want us to send
test
it?
it, try to drop it by tomorrow. Just put it into my classroom. And no particular homework. Text me, or not text me, but email me. Take a picture of this work for today. Send that to me. I want to see your work. You need to do it within 10 minutes because then I know you did work while you were sitting there in your group. All right.
Coach, mine's pretty
That
messy.
email needs to be received shortly.
Mine's really messy. Is
Submit
that
it
okay?
in Dropbox. I'm going to go put it in Dropbox right now. Sean?
Coach,
Email it
Coach,
to me.
mine's pretty messy.
Same.
You can send me, document your messiness, and then you can write it neater and send me that later. But I need to see the
Okay.
messiness. I need proof that you are participating.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Wait.
And that you didn't
Okay.
rely and ride the curtails of your
Love you,
neighbor, your
Coach.
partners. All right, gentlemen,
So email is okay, or you want Blackboard?
email is fine
Okay.
because it'll
All right,
take me
you go.
5 minutes to get to the Blackboard.
Ma'am, can I see the board real quick? Oh, okay, one second. Sean's has it.
Wait a minute. Blackboard or email?
Either
Doesn't-
one, but I didn't put it on Blackboard yet. So if you
Okay.
want it right now, email is your only option.
Okay, I'll do it then.
I keep trying to see
Okay.
it, but like I keep switching it.
All
There we
right,
go.
Coach. I'll see you.
Okay,
bye,
have a
Coach.
great weekend, Ty.
You too.
See you, DeAndre.
I think I got it, Coach. I just got to spend like 5 more minutes grinding.
Man, did you say you have to make Y not equal to 0? Even though that wasn't part
What
of
you will
the.
find is it does not equal 0. So putting a crossbar in does not solve the issue with the Y component. So the question that I asked you at the end, would anything else be needed to assure this will work? You would have to assure that the vertical support in that wall is not going to be affected also. Because you would find that the Y components don't equal, and putting a crossbar on the truss is not going to solve that issue. So they would have had to verify that the wall is not going to compress into the ground or cause the building to sink. That could happen. They built it right on the edge there with that retaining wall and everything. So that, you know, it doesn't seem like that turned into a big deal, which I don't think it did, but that's something that you would want to go back and reevaluate and make sure that they have the correct foundation there.
Right.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Tim,
Yes, ma'am.
if you want to test your bridge, you can bring it by my place, have your mom drop it
Okay.
off on her way to work.
All right.
Tell her she's more than welcome to do, if you want to test it. I'd love to test
Yeah.
it, but if
All
you
right.
don't want to, because you said you would test it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't have to take it all the way to Benedictine's. And is she still going to work?
Oh, yes.
Okay. She can drop it by and just tell her to just put it in my mailbox,
Okay.
and I will test it. So if you can get that to me by Monday, then we'll test it out.
All right. Definitely.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah, Jack.
So I already sent you an email with the homework from the other day, or like the work from the other day. for the trust calculation.
Okay, I need you to maybe get closer to your computer because I can't hear you.
I sent you the homework from the other day. The trust calculations. I sent that to you in an email, and I just sent you the homework.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, that past problem from Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm just making sure you got that email. Or
so
I'm
I got
sure
that
you
in
got
an email.
an email, yes.
Okay,
Yes, I get them. Bye, coach.
bye.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes,
For this assignment,
yes,
I put that one in the old Dropbox. Is that okay?
yeah.
You want me to email it to or?
No, if you, either place is fine. So if I don't see it in the Dropbox, then I go back and search my emails.
Okay.
My preference is the Dropbox, but it was down so much and I didn't get my assignments in and graded, so I was using both. The
Gotcha.
preference is going forward, we use as much Dropbox as we can. It's just an easier way to keep things organized.
Way more, yeah.
But whenever it's down, you can email it to me and then I just go back and search your name and it comes up.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And then
We get a lot of emails, so sometimes it's hard. Like if I don't grade it on the spot, which I typically don't, then
it gets stuck in all the emails.
100. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably having the same thing because I think some of your teachers are using emails.
Well, the good